me. Our next speaker is so close to my heart. She's my bestie. She is a true maverick. Intrapreneur and entrepreneur, don't you know? She is a business founder of Sajori. She makes tools. She makes toys. She creates tools and toys. And what she does, she brings them to people, she brings them to companies, and she gets everyone using them, and she fundamentally changes the company. She is a culture designer. She is an innovation facilitator. She's a storyteller. She's a cross-stitcher extraordinaire, and I love her deeply. It's Miss Randah Taher.
Hey, love, how are you? So when you said cross-stitch, do you notice this? This used to be a shirt, right? But now with quarantine, it doesn't fit anymore. So I just hang it. So these are the different things that we are changing because of quarantine. And I stopped looking at I stopped weighing myself. So we're good now. So I want to share with you something. I want to tell you about how do I think about purpose. And I want to share my version of using intention to your own advantage, right? So thoughts, we know that thoughts shape reality, right? So what you think is what you get. But then how can you play with it? How can it become part of your life and the way that you go through it? How intentions work, in my own understanding, it's very subconscious, right? So you simply focus on a certain wavelength. You start to pay attention to patterns. You remove any noise from the things that you experience, the things that you view. If I can give you an example, if you buy a car, right? If you are able to go out and buy a car, or even if you buy a dress, and you take the time to find the right thing for you, and then you buy it, and then suddenly everyone in the street is having the same one, exactly the same one. So, and you're like, what just happened? Like, why is everyone doing exactly the same thing? So the idea is you were all thinking on the same wavelength. You were all trying to figure out what is it that you are focused on at that without really noticing. I'll give you an example, okay, just to clarify what I want to tell you. When you use your intentions, you usually focus on the objective, like what do you want to arrive to? If you want it to work your way, you forget about the how. You don't consume yourself with how am I going to get there? It's mostly I need to get there somehow. And I'll tell you how it's been working with me. I don't know if it will work with you, but this is how it's been done. For 2 decades, I've been buying a yearly calendar. I like to buy the paper-based one, and I like to have something that is nice to look at every day or every week if I don't look at it every day. And after 10 years of doing it, I took I needed to clean up all my previous ones, right? So I started to look through the calendars and see what have I done in the past years. And I noticed one thing that just stood out in front of me is that the shape and the design of the calendar, in a way, because I paid attention to what I want to see every day, it affected the outcome of that year. And, it sounds crazy, but I'll give you an example. In 2007, that's when I noticed, right? So I was in 2006 at the time, and I wanted to buy a calendar for 2007. That's when I started looking backwards. It's only when you look backwards that you reflect what happened. So in 2006, I bought the calendar for the next year. And at that time, I just moved from Montreal to Toronto, and I bought a calendar with a New York Dogs cartoon on top. So if you're aware of that, you know what I'm talking about. It's basically a cartoon comic, and I really liked it. I liked the feeling of it, how light it felt, and I got that calendar within the first 2 months. Within actually 2 months, so from February until April of 2007, I found and researched and applied and got in my master's that was based in New York. And I've never been to New York before, right? So that's one example, okay? in 2010, we were traveling and passing through. So again, at the end of it was at the beginning of 2010 or at the end of 2009, we were traveling to Turkey, and I decided to. Oh, I found a calendar, a mini calendar, right? That I connected with so much because it had pictures of Turkish culture and food and colors and all that. And it was just beautiful. But it was so small, unlike anything that I've had before. And I said, what could this small thing bring to my life over the year? By now, I believe that the calendar decision affects my year, right? So anyway, I liked it. I got it. I said, this will be my calendar. And then towards the middle of 2010, I got pregnant, and I had my mini child, and I did not have any space to write anything because I did not have time to write anything. So it did work its magic for me. From 2015 to 2018, I experimented with designing and making my own calendars. That's another story by itself. But then come to this year, to 2020, I bought a calendar, which is, again, very new for me to buy it in that design. I bought the Paulo Coelho's calendar. I like the colors. I like the different codes. I do have a couple of Paulo's books, but I never read them. I never got the chance to read them. But then I have this calendar, right? So I have this calendar, and I get into this calendar and I use it every day. And then at the beginning of the year, I get into this workshop it's called the Creative Workshop by Seth Godin. And then last month, I made a decision to write a book. So now I'm writing a book. You're going to drum it? So 1 minute. All right. So this is how the calendar is affecting me, right? So you figure out what is it that you can create, that you can focus just on setting this intention, but you don't know how it will come. That's very important. So I'll give you a small tip. You can decide with a word, choose a word, right? And write it down or print it big and keep it in front of you. You have to see it every day. But then let go of how you're going to arrive to that word, or let go of, you don't have any control of your circumstances or the people around you. So you don't know how it will come, but then you just focus on that word. And keep in mind that words have different meanings. So it can come from any of the meaning. For example, the word confidence could mean empowerment for someone. It could mean elegance, or it could mean respect. So if you say, I want to feel confident, it could come from any of these. You have no control of how it comes. You just need to embrace them. You need to be ready for whatever comes your way. You set your intention, and voila, drum it, please. Love it.
I just wanted to bang my drum.
I know. I feel you.
Nothing's changing. Oh, Randah, that was awesome. Shibani, questions from the audience, please.
Okay, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, sorry, I'm just really concerned now. Okay, so this question, Randah, is from Arefa, and she wants to know, how do you keep so happy, creative, and positive always?
Ask James, what does he drink for in the morning? I drink the same thing. I think that people I'm not always happy. You haven't seen me unhappy, right? And it's just making a choice. I need to show up in a certain way, and that's who I want to be, in front of my kids, in front of my friends, and in front of people that I don't know. I don't want to be grumpy because life is too short. I don't have any other than thinking, okay, what's the best thing that's coming out of it? Whatever worst situation is, just saying optimistic. I think in a way this helped.
Okay. And this question is from Noor, who I have to say has been such a star audience member. She's asked every one of our speakers a question. So she asked, do you think that maybe the way you designed your calendar is also a reflection of how you feel in that year? And so now do you have a timeline of you that you can look back on?
I don't understand the question very well. Are you saying like, how did I choose the calendar? I'm thinking, can you read it again?
I think she means to ask, like, is your calendar a reflection of how you want to feel in the upcoming year?
Purpose.
Now I know that by focusing on finding a calendar that clicks with me, I don't know what's coming in the next year, but if it clicks, it means that it will bring me something in the direction of what I'm looking at every day. I have no attachment to how it's coming, to the outcome. I just put my energy at the beginning.
Okay.
One more question, please. One more question.
There aren't any in the chat.
No more questions then.
Yeah.
Where'd you get your style inspiration from, Randah? You were like the most stylish, colorful person I know. Where does it come from?
I love that. I had help. So I had help from someone I really admire. He's an haute couture stylist, and who gave me like really in your face, this doesn't work, this works, change this. And then he even connected me with a stylist who we went to try to understand how to put things together. So it's not me by myself. You get help.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Randah. That was awesome.